ladies and gentlemen, Steve Siebold.
Good job, man. You're awesome. You're the best. Thank you. Thank you. Several years ago, I took up kickboxing. Great workout, lots of fun. So I'm in the kickboxing club one day, and the owner comes up to me. He says, Steve, would you like me to set you up with a sparring partner so you'll have someone to practice with? And I said, yeah, sure. So he introduces me to this guy named Big Jim. This guy is 6'4", 300 pounds, solid muscle. No kidding. He says, Steve, not only is Big Jim the 3-time arm wrestling champion of the world, but he was Muhammad Ali's bodyguard back in the 70s. And I'm thinking, Muhammad Ali needed a bodyguard? You know, and I gotta fight him? This is crazy, this is nuts. So I'm in the ring with this monster. I'm in the ring with him. This is like Hulk Hogan versus Pee Wee Herman. Not good. So I'm in the ring and I'm bouncing around doing my little thing I learned at the kickboxing club, right? You know, punching and kicking and he's not even swinging at me. He's just walking around. He's got this big chest like this. He's walking around like this, looking mean. And at one point he goes, go ahead, you can hit me as hard as you want. And I already was. So I'm bouncing around like this, and finally he starts to look like he's getting mad, and his face got a little red, and he goes, look, you got 3 seconds to give me your best shot. Like, we're on the street. You got 3 seconds or I'm knocking you out. Like, where's the owner? Where's the owner? Come back, help me. I didn't know what to do. I mean, what would you have done, right? So I'm bouncing around like this going, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. And finally I went, ah-ya! And I punched this gorilla as hard as I could, right in the groin. Yeah, it was a good shot too. He catches my fist in the palm of his giant hand. Now his face is beet red. The veins in his neck are bulging out. And I said, I'm dead, aren't I? And he said, you would be if we were on the street. And I was like, oh, thank God. He said, that was a really stupid move. What were you thinking? I said, you scared me. I'm a tennis player. You scared me. I didn't know what to do. And he says, Steve, look, think about it. I got at least 100 pounds on you. I've been fighting professionally for 30 years. He says, Steve, you're fighting a fight you can't win. The only way to win a fight you can't win is not to fight. You should have run out of the ring. I said, where were you 2 minutes ago when I needed you, you know? But I thought to myself, that is nonlinear thinking. And it never crossed my mind. It never crosses most people's minds because we're trained, as you know, to think linear, right in school. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Linear thinking. When we all know the big problems of the world are really solved with non-linear, big thinking. It's one of the great secrets of the world class I learned in 25 years of interviewing these people all over the world. I work primarily with salespeople of very large corporations, Fortune 500 sales forces. That's what I do pretty much every day. And you would guess this, you might be in that area or maybe not, but you'd probably guess that the biggest problem that they all have across the board, anywhere in the world we work, is the fear of rejection, right? Why? Well, psychologists say it's because most of us have the greatest addiction you can possibly have, and that's the addiction to the approval of other people. It works when we're children, but we carry it into adulthood, and it causes most of us to stop asking people to buy or to get an ILG or to marry us or to dance with us or whatever it is. We're addicted to this approval of other people. I think my friend Dan Caro talked about this a little bit earlier on. Well, the world class have a secret. And this one, you know, people say secrets, everything's a secret. Some of it's not. This one is a little bit of a secret, at least that I've found among world class salespeople. And here it is. This is a beauty. They overcome this addiction through a process that psychologists call systematic desensitization. Systematic desensitization. Now, granted, these are the two biggest words I know. I get that. But it sounds complicated, but it's really not. Here is how it works. Systematically, over time, they desensitize to hearing the word no. Yeah. See, at first, you ask to buy, you ask someone to buy, you ask someone to get an ILG, whatever it is, and they say no, and you go, ooh, like Terry just talked about, ooh, feeling the pain, emotional pain. But after you ask and you ask and you ask and you ask, psychologically, all of a sudden, a shift takes place. You've desensitized to the word no, and when that happens, it's magic. It's a big part of the mental toughness process and a big part of the secrets of the world class, especially in sales. Once it happens, they start to see everything as a game. Once you start to see asking someone to get an ILG, selling a product or a service or whatever it is you do, you start to see it as a game. You no longer associate emotional pain with the word no. And then what happens as a result? You start asking everyone. And you get very dangerous. And you also can get very rich doing that exact thing.